Yesterday, we saw Simone Biles withdraw from the Olympics due to mental health reasons. Almost swiftly, there were comparisons to 1996 gymnast Kerri Strug, who had famously performed her vault on an injured foot, effectively ending her Olympic career. While I commend her performance and want to take nothing away from her, it seems that a simple bit of grace is something that is not afforded to this black woman. This black woman who has been penalized for simply being the best at what she does. This woman who has carried the women's Olympic team on her back for the last 8 years. She has not lost an all around competition since 2013. A woman who is considered the greatest Olympic gymnast of all time and one of the most decorated Olympians ever. While some would say that she simply gave up, while Strug did not, it's much less simple than that. Something that happened, and it's something that happens to a lot of black women. She had been degraded and bashed for simply making her own health and mental well being a priority. Looking back on that 1996 Olympic Games, you can see in Kerri's face that she did not want to do that career ending run. She did it because she felt like she had to. And she thought, and was led to believe, that the gold medal rested on her run. So she did what she felt like she had to do. And, the fallout was she wasn't able to compete again. She was effectively done in gymnastics. So, Biles, on the other hand, she knew her mental health. She knew it wasn't where it was supposed to be. And she made the choice to withdraw rather than becoming a further hindrance to her teammates. Because if she had, she would be blamed for them. She'd be in the same place that she's at now. She would still be vilified for not being good enough. When black women know their worth in their bodies, they're vilified for it. There is a simple saying that, as a black person, you have to be 2 times better than everybody else to get half of the recognition. And, there's no truer example than what happened today, that happened yesterday, sorry. Here's a woman who has been a force in the gymnastic world for most of the last decade. And rather than celebrate her choice to withdraw and come back when she felt, she was ready to go and do what she usually does, which is win and make everybody else feel like they could never. She was vilified and, treated as if she, like all of the things that she's done prior to this mean nothing because she chose to prioritize her mental health. She quit. Blah, blah, blah. It's stupid. And listen, they ended up with a silver medal, even without her, so great. And that's taking nothing away from the rest of the team, but let's be real, Simone was that girl. And you have to imagine the amount of pressure that she had on herself. Like, she is carrying not only her team, but her country on her back, and she's young. But like thinking about this makes me kind of go back and look at some of the other black women in recent history, especially in sports, that have had to go through this. Sha'Carri Richardson banned from her event at the Olympics for smoking weed, which is stupid in and of itself. And then you get further into the story and find out that she did that to cope with the death of her mom, who she found out her biological mom died through a reporter after a race. Like most of us wouldn't be able to handle anyway, and this was her way of coping. And when people started to rally around her and started to give her support, someone pulled up old tweets and things that she had said, that as if this woman doesn't deserve support or doesn't deserve or what happened to her wasn't fucked up. And like, while I don't agree with anything that she said and wish to God she had never said it, um, the fact of the matter is that she did, and those two things are not the same. Not to say that she should not be, held responsible for her words, because absolutely she should, but that had nothing to do with the situation she's in now. If we wanted to go back and say, hey, why don't you address these things that you said, then fine, let's do that. But let's not do that while she's already going through something else. And then that reminds me of, then it's brings us to this whole, like, you had people on the internet, because that's where everyone loves to talk. I mean, as someone who's talking on the internet, just saying. She failed before she even began. It was like, people would go back and be like, well, rules are rules, and she should have followed the rules, which is kind of the same thing that racist people tend to say whenever a black person, something happens to a black person that we all know is unfair, that we all know is, upsetting, and things shouldn't be this way. But rules are rules, and you got to follow the rules. It's only strange to me that seems to only happen to people of color. And then another person that I wanted to talk about was Naomi Osaka, who earlier this year said, hey, I'm not doing any more press conferences because they're not good for my mental health. And she was fined from the association, and then subsequently pulled out of Wimbledon because she prioritized her mental health to your fodder. Personally, if I was a athlete, I'm like, if my statement was on the field, and I don't need to talk about anything else after that. So if I win, I won. Why are you bothering me? Leave me alone. But they were calling her weak and made fun of her, and like I said, she had some moral failing, because she didn't want to do these press conferences anymore. Where if you had paid a little bit more attention, you would know that she's been famously shy, around on the road and in press conferences, and doesn't like to do them, and shows signs of their anxiety every time someone makes her, or she has to do these press conferences. So it makes sense for her, in prioritizing her mental health, to be like, I don't want to do this. And then, as things happen, when she subsequently was having 3 magazine covers that come out in the last couple of weeks, and here comes the old racist mafia being like, oh, she said she wasn't going to do press events, but she did these interviews, and blah, 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 blah. Never mind the fact that, like, it takes months for these interviews and these photo shoots to come out. They are planned well in advance, and so they were done and completed well before she made this announcement that she was going to withdraw. Like, it's not hard to understand if you have 2 working brain cells and a third of a book. It's to end off. I'm not saying that we shouldn't celebrate Kerri Strug for her performance in 1996. I think she should be celebrated. I think she should. She took one for the team, for lack of a better term, and did something amazing and something that we wouldn't do. But we also need to celebrate these black girls who have been dominating their sports, and they will continue to do so without expecting perfection off the field. We set them to such a high standard on the field. Off the field, these are still just human beings, And, all of these women have done more in their field than you and I will ever do in our own prospective fields. Let's keep it real. You're not getting gold medals for filing your papers. And if you are, you're working, I don't know what to tell you. So just put some respect on their name. It's just that simple. Naomi Osaka, I salute you. Sha'Carri Richardson, I salute you, although I don't necessarily agree with some of the things you've said. Simone Biles, I salute you. You are the GOAT. You were the best to ever do it. You know what I'm saying? They penalized you for being too good. They were like, this girl does things that will kill other people. So let's make her, they dimmed your light so that other people can shine brighter. So just take that for what that is. You're the best. You're the GOAT. And, F these haters. But either way, put some respect on their name. And I'm out. Don't forget to like and subscribe on this video. And if you... Nope, that's it. Just like and subscribe on this video. Check out some of the other videos. They'll be like over here, I think. Or maybe over here. Probably over here is where they'll be. I know one of them is the first episode of the Tough Campaign, and the other one would be the episode of Wake the F Up I did with my sister. So those are fun. And over here is where you can click to subscribe to my channel. So make sure you do that. Thanks. And y'all have a great rest of your day until later on when I cuss out the baby.